All right, it's recording.
Hi, Ashley.
Hey, Robin, what a day it has been so far.
Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh, Robin got her hair stuck in her headset today. I had a flat tire. I had to rush over here. But the thing is, we made it happen because that's what you can do when you can do anything, right?
That's right.
So we have a special episode today. It's another Minisode.
We love the minisodes.
We do. I think we just like saying the word Minisode. That's probably it too.
Minisode.
So, we should just get started then. A lot of it, to start off with, is about your amazing trip. Both of them. We're titling this Robin and Ashley's Excellent Adventures.
I think they were excellent adventures,
I think they were too, but I want to hear about your excellent adventure first.
My excellent adventure started out really kind of odd. My husband typically goes out west in June, and this year he still wanted to go out west, even though some of the competitions that he wanted to do weren't obviously going on because of COVID. So he had asked if I wanted to join him out west, and I thought, well, that seems kind of weird because why would we be going out west if there's nothing going on? And the other part was there was no planning. So my husband wanted to go and not plan any places to stay, any places at all. Like we had destinations like Yellowstone, Big Timber, Montana. I wanted to see Billings in Missoula, Montana, and Bozeman. And then my husband did want to go see the Salmon River in Idaho because evidently it flows backwards of what you'd think it would flow. Anyway, interesting. We ended up having an amazing adventure. It was really great, even though there were no plans. We ended up making it work. One night as we were leaving Yellowstone, we didn't realize that there wasn't any camping in Yellowstone, and I had looked up online to see what was going on for Yellowstone, and it said make your reservations online or call. Well, I kept calling and kept getting a busy signal, never realizing that the entire Yellowstone park was no camping. Anyway, we left Yellowstone. By the way, Yellowstone is the most amazing place on earth. It was gorgeous. And my husband likes to scare me because I'm scared of heights. So he would drive closer to the edge and I would just start to panic. I don't panic very often.
I had no idea.
I don't. But when I'm way high up, I was petrified.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and then there's one part of Yellowstone, Matt said, honey, look. And the road was, honestly, there was no road. There was a road, but it was hanging off a cliff. So we were suspended in air by just a concrete slab. I almost had a heart attack. Yeah. And he wanted to go back over it, and I was almost screaming, like, no, we're not going back over this.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall in that truck, that'd be so fun.
You would have been laughing at me.
I know.
Yeah, there was another part where we were driving, and there were no guardrails. And
that's terrifying.
The roads are pretty tight there. Mm-hmm. And I started to say to him, what happens when elderly people are driving, or what happens if somebody takes their eyes off the road and they go
sneezes or get something in their eye?
Like you honestly could die there.
Yeah.
So that night we ended up finding a campsite. We found the last spot in this campsite, which worked out really well. But I stayed up for about an hour worrying about these poor people and no guardrails at Yellowstone, which is very unlike me. That is not something I would.
You don't have anxious or stressful bone in your body. Like,
no,
you're the complete opposite of me.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, not so much anymore. I'm getting better, but you've been helping me through that. So
thank you.
I was like, I don't care anymore.
No,
that's so cool. You also were sending me pictures of buffalo the whole time. Which is funny because I did not realize, when I think of Yellowstone, I just think of a big flat area. Like I had no idea there were cliffs and that you're talking about going over guardrails. And now I'm like very interested to go because I have it on my list of places to go like in the next 2 years.
Yellowstone is a must, honestly.
Yeah.
If anybody wants any recommendations, shoot us an email on the icandoanythingpod@gmail.com and I will definitely give you some like just suggestions on where to go and what to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's super awesome. There's also a Yellowstone podcast, and I would love to get that. Yeah, to get the podcaster on this podcast about Yellowstone.
Love it.
It was just amazing. So we did that. Then we went up to Missoula, Montana. Well, we went to Big Timber, then we went to Missoula, and we stayed a couple days in Missoula. Really loved Missoula, way more than I thought I would. It's a really beautiful town.
Interesting.
And we went back through North Yellowstone Loop, and from there we went through the we went through the Bighorn Mountains on the way out there. Then we did Beartooth Pass. That's what it's called. And my neighbors here in Wisconsin told me to go through Beartooth Pass. It's a must. Matt and I were blown away at how gorgeous that is.
Wow. I had no idea. I didn't even know. I don't even know what that is. Is that the same neighbor that you have that's a motorcycler?
Yes.
Did he go on his motorcycle?
I don't.
He was so proud. He brought out his whole map.
I know. My neighbors are awesome.
What a sweet person.
Yeah. Yeah. Super cool. And then a couple of days, when we were going through Yellowstone, I was sending Buffy buffalo pictures. And the day
you have to tell our listeners why.
Well, Buffy, I know I've mentioned Buffy before on the podcast, but she's one of my very besties. And a long time ago, she and another friend were texting, and one or the other meant to say BFF, and autocorrect came out as Buffalo. So it always came out as Buffaloes, and then changed it to Buffaloes instead of BFFs, and then shortened it up to Buffy after Buffalo. So I call her Buffy, and I've known her as Buffy for years. One day somebody asked me what her real name was, and I actually had to stop and think about it because I've called her Buffy for years. I couldn't even remember.
When you first told me, I thought her name was like truly Buffy. Like, names don't even faze me anymore. My mom's a first grade teacher, and the names that come through there, I'm like, who named you?
Yeah.
Some creative mind. And when I say creative, I mean a little school creative there.
Yeah. Anyway, we went through Cody, Wyoming. We did the Salmon River. It's, I think it's called Frank Church Wilderness, something like that's in Idaho. So yeah, we did, obviously went through Minnesota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. It was a great, great trip. Let's talk about our trip.
Yes. The better of the trip. I'm just kidding. That sounds amazing.
Our
trip was, we won't tell Matt, although me and Matt have become good friends.
He's a bestie.
We send each other TikToks now very often. Our trip was amazing. So we have been planning this for probably 3 months now. And of course, when we wanted to plan this, it's the heart of COVID. And right before COVID got the upswing again is when I came up. So everything was going down, and granted, we socially distanced and everything, but I drove up there with my dog, and it was a great trip. It was a long, long trip. It was like 9 hours up and 11 hours back down. I found a kitten on the way. That was fun. I had to take it to the vet. It was found on the side of the road with its tail falling off. Who knew? Then I get up there and just had an amazing time. I have to like pull up a, itinerary of all the stuff that we did. I mean, cheese, hiking, kayaking, like where do we start?
I do. So Ashley is very active, I would say. Yeah. You do something every day. You're out in your car, you're out and about, you're doing something every day.
Because I can't sit still. Let's be honest of the reason here.
Yeah, I
have a little bit of ADHD, so.
Yeah. And my husband and I have been living COVID, and we didn't know we've been living COVID. Anyway, I had to put myself in the mind of a tourist. What if I was coming to Wisconsin? What would I want to do? What would I want to see? And Ashley and I did some Googling on things to do in Wisconsin, things to do in Madison. We found quite a few things, and it was really nice to revisit Wisconsin. It was nice to revisit Madison. It was nice to
vacation in your own city.
Yes, it was great. So the first night Ashley got here, we went to the Arboretum, which is something I've wanted to do, but I'd never do it by myself. It's kind of one of those safety things.
She always gets nervous when I go on hikes because she's like, please be safe. You're going to get kidnapped. And I'm like, well, I'll just run really fast, I guess. Like, because I go on hikes by myself all the time. Please don't follow me out there, kidnappers. But she's like, I never do this because I'm afraid I'll get kidnapped. I was like,
well, truth be told, the kidnappers would give me back within about 10 to 15 minutes. It would not be a long kidnapping.
I think you would make them so insecure. Like, you're going to wear that mask? Yeah, what a horrible mask. You little pansy. Put me in the bag harder. Anyways, no, it was very fun. We got to do all sorts. We had to bow out a little early from that, though. The mosquitoes. Oh.
Yeah. But they were bad.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then
really beautiful place.
So I was working during the week. So Ashley did fun things during the day, but Friday was a big day for us. So Friday after work, we went to the zoo, to the Madison Zoo, Henry Vilas, and then the big fish fry. So I've been talking about fish fries since I've met Ashley, and we decided to go to a fish fry. And my husband, who does not like to eat out, was all about eating out with Ashley for a fish fry.
It was so fun. And don't forget, so I do have an allergy to fish. So I still wanted to experience what it was, because it's everywhere. When I was driving around during the middle of the week, every single restaurant has a billboard that talks about the fish fry. I'm like, what am I missing out on? Like, I still want to go. I said, well, okay, we'll go to the fish fry. I'll watch you guys get your fish. Let's also please get fried cheese curds, because Robin has been talking about cheese curds that entire week. It was so much fun. Like, oh my gosh. And they were amazing. Truly incredible. Like, everyone should know how much I love cheese. The cheese in Madison, or just in Wisconsin in general, is worth moving to Wisconsin, I feel like. It's everywhere.
Yeah. So it's amazing. And who doesn't like fried cheese?
Truly. I had never had fried cheese. I guess I had halloumi. I think halloumi is fried cheese. It's a Greek thing. It's not like fried cheese curds, though. It's a completely different beast. But so fun. And Matt got to hang out with us, and it was awesome because he was at work too during the week.
Yep, he was.
And I have to give him a shout out. He went on the pier boardwalk. What was it? We had a huge discussion on what a pier or a boardwalk, or what was the other one?
A dock.
Or a dock. What constitutes it? Because we all three said different things. We said, what is that? I forget what I said. I think I called it a boardwalk.
You did call it the boardwalk. Yeah. And Matt looked at me and I said, I call it a pier. And or maybe Matt called it a pier and I called it a dock.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. That's not what that's called.
Yeah. Anyway, we went out there and Ashley said to Matt, are you coming with us? And he said, no. And I said, no big deal. He can hold our to-go boxes. And we went, which is where this picture is taken from as my background.
Yeah, the background.
Ashley and I on the pier on Lake Wabisa. And sure enough, we turn around and here comes Matt. So it was so cute. He did really well.
Well, I said, he goes, I've already been on a dock. And I said, he goes, it's just a dock. I don't see what's so exciting about it. I said, well, this is a Wisconsin dock.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to walk on it. And so he came out and it was really cute.
Yeah, he was adorable.
He was very
And then
sweet.
Saturday, we did our tour. We went to Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, went to our cabin, and then back.
This was a big deal for me, especially. So I was going through an inventory of just the states I had visited. And I said, I don't have that many states left. So I kind of I'm trying to make this a big goal of mine, is to visit all the rest of them before June of next year. And so I told Robin about this goal of mine because I was like, how close is all these other states? And she's like, they're kind of far. Anyways, Robin, in her true amazing best friend fashion, was like, we are going to make this happen. And so she's like, planned it all out. She's like, okay, we're going to start here and then we're going to drive to, it's Idaho, right?
Iowa.
Sorry, I get them confused. Iowa. We're going to drive to Iowa, and then we're going to drive up into Minnesota, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get cheese on the way back. And I was like, sold. You are amazing to do this for me. So we did. We packed all of our water. We got a huge cooler in the back, took my dog. We brought some snacks.
Yep.
But pretty much we just winged it. What is the past tense of winging it?
We winged it.
And it was so much fun. Then we got to see her cabin on the way back. And what a cute little place. We ate this amazing cheeseburger pizza. which was a
Yes.
new thing for me, which was delicious. But oh my gosh, it was so cute, and one of the best days ever.
Yeah, we had a great day. Sunday took us to Devil's Lake.
Mm-hmm. That was
And
beautiful.
I will say the people at Devil's Lake, you have a lot of work to do on getting your signs fixed because we got lost for about an hour and a half. Not lost, but we were on the wrong trail. And a part of it I will take was my fault for not reading it correctly, but the trails were marked very poorly.
Easily unreadable.
Yeah. So we ended up going to Devil's Lake. We ended up hiking, loved it. I can't wait to go back. I'm very excited. Again, I will not go by myself because I will be too scared that somebody's going to murder me because I listen to too much true crime. But I will go with somebody else. So if anybody wants to go to Devil's Lake with me, that's not a serial killer, I'd be super excited to go.
You were a trooper too. It was not an easy hike.
No. And it was really it was honestly my first hike.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
And on top of that, I have to brag on Robin a little bit. She did say that she was scared of heights just now. There was one part, and poor Robin is sitting there. I'm sitting there standing on the edge, and she's like, get away from the edge. And I was like, but I want to take a picture on this rock. And I shouldn't have been on the edge. But there was this one part where she did not want to go on because it was right along the edge, and you had to walk along these rocks to get to the top part. And she conquered her fear. She even got a picture, which I still need to send you that. She got a picture with the rocks that she was on. She did an amazing job, which shows that you can do anything. You put your mind to it, and you made it happen, and you got to see a beautiful view because of it.
It was. The view was beautiful. If anybody knows me, knows that I'm super clumsy. Mm-hmm. So being clumsy and on a huge hill, like not a mountain, but it was pretty big. Like if I were to fall, I'd be dead.
Yeah, it was definitely a long fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
did that.
Still never found out if that rock, what was that rock called?
Balancing rock.
I looked it up to see if we could not find it. No one in this park could find it. The other people that we were hiking around couldn't find this rock. It allegedly existed, but then someone told us that someone had knocked it over. So then I looked up a news article to see if it does, but I couldn't find any information about the balance rock being tipped over. And I'm like, well, it's clearly like there is a mismatch of communication because we can't tell if it's there or not, and no one can find it, but it's not knocked over. So it's just, again, with the weird directions, like if it was knocked over, you would assume that they wouldn't have directions to it. So it was a whole interesting thing. But again, we got an extra mile in because of the detour we took to go find balancing rock that we couldn't find.
We did. And then I pressured us to get going because I wanted to hit the cheese factory on Sunday before we got back into town. So we did that.
Ellen Box cheese, people.
Ellen Box cheese.
You have to go.
It was good. Monday, we stayed at home and worked on the podcast. So we've got some super exciting things coming up in the near future. Tuesday, we tried to go kayaking, which was super fun, except for the fact that a storm was coming in. We only got to kayak.
Quite a big one, too.
Yeah, it was a big storm. Ashley and I were ready to brave it out. You know, if we got hit by lightning, we were cool with that. Yeah. But the Lake Patrol was not cool with that. So we had
they did not like it. They said you could stay out. They came around in their boat and they're like, and they said you and the Winger boats get back in. They're like, you can stay out if you want to.
Yeah. So they were fine. So Tyler Leeper owns it, and Tyler and I went to graduate school together. So Tyler, if you're listening to this, your team did an outstanding job.
They were very good.
They were not going to boss me around, which was a good call, but I came in anyway.
Yes. Although we were kind of making our way farther and farther across the lake because we assumed they were going to call us in. We're like, we're going to go to the secret. If we go far enough, they can't get us. That didn't work. But the good thing is they handled it very professionally and they allowed us to come back. We were probably out there for 15, 20 minutes. And maybe, and then they called us back in and then they gave us, we got to rebook for the next day. So, well, I did because you had your own, but it was great. And then we spent 2 hours the next day, right?
Yeah. So on Tuesday when we left, there's something called Michael's Frozen Custard here in Madison, and it is amazing. Okay. So we went to Culver's, had some ice cream, and got some ice cream for Matt because he was working. And then, then Wednesday night we did get to go out for 2 hours. And then, Ashley, why don't you tell everybody what you did on Thursday?
So on Thursday, I got to do something really incredible. And I thank Robin and Matt for letting me have this opportunity. Robin had to work, so she couldn't, but she also gets motion sickness. So that kind of gives you a clue on what this is. So Matt and his family invited me on a chartered salmon expedition. So we drove to Port Washington very early in the morning. That was a fun trip. I don't know if Matt told you how many times we got rerouted because they shut down a major highway. So we had to find our way back a different way. But we ended up in Port Washington, got to meet his mom, dad, his aunt, correct? And then uncle.
Yep.
And so we got on this boat. I think it started with an N. I don't remember. The Nicky Boy or something. Nicky Boy. We boarded that and we just started fishing for salmon. And it was so fun. I have visited, I think Lake Michigan. That's where Chicago is, right?
Yes.
I've seen Lake Michigan. I've never been on it. So we got to board this boat and get out on Lake Michigan. And let me tell you, Robin and this is just a funny side story. Robin and them kept telling us how cold it was going to be. And so we packed like sweaters and all this. We got on there. It was like 100 degrees the whole time. I was like, I'm so hot. All of us, and even the women, the men had said it. So the Matt's mom and aunt were like, it's so hot out here. Why did we wear pants? You told us it would be cold. It was better once we got, once the wind started. It was much better. It was still very hot, but we did a lot of it's called trolling, right?
Yep.
Trolling, yes. And we only caught one salmon, but we caught many trout. So, but we were told that what I learned on this whole thing, because it was a whole new experience to me, is there are different bait that they like certain colors during certain times of the day. Different things work. They could be in a different area of the lake. Like there was so much part of it. And that's what the captain's job is, to get you to where they need to be. But he was telling us that day, the mornings had been the most, where they're catching the most fish. I kept telling them we were going to catch, what was it? 30 something. I said,
it was a crazy amount of salmon.
It was a crazy amount of salmon. I was a little bit, wishful thinking, but we did catch, I think, 6 or 7 fish. They were big though. So I think you got to eat some of the salmon the other day.
Yes, we did. And it was delicious.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I felt so appreciative that they even invited me on that trip, because it was truly like once in a lifetime, like just good people, good friends. And then just like being on a boat. I just love, that's one thing, is growing up in Florida, I love being on a boat. So so fun. And then I had to leave the next day, which was sad.
That was sad.
But
it was very sad.
I'll tell you what, if anything, Madison was really, it was seducing me. Madison is like a place that I would 100% live now. Beautiful city. What is the day we walked downtown? We didn't go into any of the businesses.
We went downtown Friday night.
Yeah, that was super
Friday
fun.
Late afternoon, I would say.
Yeah,
just because of all the protesting, I didn't even want to go downtown.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't terrible, but
no. Ashley wanted some really good ice cream, so I wanted to take her to Babcock Hall, which is the university's ice cream dairy thing. Anyways, I do think that Babcock Hall has the best ice cream in the world. Although I haven't traveled the world, so can't really say that, but I still think it's amazing ice cream. I'll just say all the places in the United States, Babcock Hall has the best ice cream ever. So we went.
Sad we couldn't go.
Yeah, so we went to Babcock Hall and they were closed, obviously because of COVID. So then I thought, let's go to the Union, because since I graduated from UW-Madison, I have a lifetime membership at the Union. So I thought, Ashley and I can just go to the Union and get our ice cream. No can do. You had to do some online reservations.
Like a check-in thing.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, I understood why they did it. Anyway, I said, well, I've already paid for parking. Let's just go walk downtown so you can see State Street. And we went over to Lake Mendota. Mendota.
They all have M names.
Yeah, I can't remember. That's terrible.
It was.
Anyways, we saw a lake, and then we just came home. And then we went to Fish Fry.
Madison's capital and downtown is beautiful. It's interesting because what was it? There's the law that it can't be higher than the Capitol, and so
there's some city law that the buildings around the Capitol can't be higher than the Capitol, so that you can see the Capitol from all sides.
And we could see it from the lake we canoed at. You can see that top of that Capitol from literally anywhere in the city. Mm-hmm. It was really cool, but beautiful downtown. It was a little bit boarded up because of the protesting, but truly, that was honestly its own little thing too. I mean, there was some beautiful art down there that people were like spray painting on the sides of these, I guess, plywood pieces that were on the windows. But it was cool. It was neat to be able to see the downtown. It was all opened up because no cars were on it. So yeah, that was really fun. But honestly, amazing trip. I think I was there for 9 days.
Yeah, it wasn't long enough.
It wasn't long enough. No. I wish I could have stayed. I had to get back to Nashville though. And I mean, I guess I could have stayed. Highland was with me, but I was like, I have other responsibilities in Nashville. And
it was perfect timing though for the trip. It was perfect timing for the trip for Matt and I.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing for you and Highland to come up.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great time. And Ashley, I thank you so much. Ashley brought her cooking skills and recipes with her. And I loved them. We should put some of those recipes on our blog page because they were really good. I've been eating a lot healthier. I have oatmeal a lot during the day. I still have my yogurt and granola. But yeah, Ashley has some really good healthy ideas and they're delicious. Even Matt ate it. And Matt's very picky.
It was so cute because I go, Robin, do you eat Brussels sprouts? And she goes, no. And I said, I want to make you some Brussels sprouts. She's like, I'll warn you, I probably won't like it. And I said, well, will you just try them at least? And she goes, sure, I'll do that. Because she's an open-minded person. So I have to give credit where credit is due. My best friend Ella is we call them world famous, non-world famous, whatever they are. They're delicious. And she showed me this recipe years ago. And I kind of did a modification on it. My own version of it for Robin, and Robin loved them. And she's been sending us little snaps and stuff she's been having them like daily, but they're so good. And it's like Brussels sprouts are often neglected. They just need to be made right, I believe.
They really do. So my friends Dan and Pam love Brussels sprouts, but they only love a certain brand of Brussels sprout and they're frozen. So I did try those and they're really good. But I have not had fresh Brussels sprouts that taste even remotely good. And I love cabbage. So you'd think I would like Brussels sprouts.
You really would. They're kind of bitter though.
But if they're made correctly, they're delicious. And so my stepmom, Cindy, would be thrilled to hear that I now love Brussels sprouts.
Mm-hmm. We did have a lot of good food though. Like very healthy. I made some eggplant thingies. We made cranberry almond chicken, which was super good. Lots of salads. I mean, it was very healthy. I was very proud of us. I introduced Robin to a London Fog. She's not a tea drinker, but she did like it. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'll drink it every once in a while. And that's all that matters is she had an open mind. And that's all you can ask for, honestly. I just like people who have an open mind that are willing to try things. Like you don't discount it before you try it. And I think that's a good life lesson too, is don't discount something before you try it because it may surprise you. Or even like a hobby that you're like, oh, I don't want to really do this. And you try it and you love it. And it's now just a new thing that you incorporate in your life. So it was such a good trip. Yeah. I loved it.
All right. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yes. Next topic. Go ahead.
Next topic is, I wanted to do a quick summary for all of the listeners. We have a lot of new listeners. We have a listener in, was it South Africa?
South Africa. Yeah. Hi there.
It's awesome.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
We do. We appreciate our Virginia listeners. We appreciate everybody. And I wanted to go through the list of all of our episodes just so everybody knows.
Yes.
And I do want to say that most of our episodes are on YouTube, but when we started this, we did not put our early episodes on YouTube. So if you're going to YouTube and you think, oh, why are you guys starting at episode 8? Because that's where we did start with YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go through and read them.
Yes.
So the first one was just an overall interview or an overall of the intro to the podcast. And if it sounds like it's scripted, it is. It was. And we did read it like it was scripted.
We were really nervous, but we did it.
We kept making so many mistakes. So we thought,
yeah,
the first one's going to be scripted. And sorry if it sounds terrible, but that's what we did. We learned from our mistake and we decided to never script again.
And if you listened on after episode 1, well, thank you, because then that's when they got a lot better. So that you said, oh my gosh. I am on my stool. My normal stool is not here. So my stool is one of those like very modern looking stools and it does not have a good base. Sorry, I just fell over. So, sorry.
This is how it goes. We decided not to edit out a lot of stuff. We decided just to keep it real, as real as we can. And this is everyday life. And this is how it rolls. Yep. Anyway.
Episode 2.
What's that?
Oh, are we on episode 2 or 3?
We are on Minisode 1.
Minisode
was fall and winter books, because a part of what Ashley and I wanted to do was to also incorporate daily living and how to best improve self-improvement. And we both think that books are very important. And we both think that a mixture of books. So it's not just self-help books or motivational books, but the fluffy books and the mysteries and the history books. Ashley has some recently spiritual books and just overall.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. We think that's a really good way to go about the books. And then episode 2, and my eyes are going up because I'm reading on a different monitor, so sorry. Episode 2 is on personalities, and we got a lot of comments on that episode.
I love a good personality test. I have another one that I'm supposed to do in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Episode 3 was our first interview with Jeffrey Bannock, the funnel doc. Episode 4
Great
was
guy.
Tim. Yeah. Yes, he is. Episode 4 was Jeff was super exciting for me too. And I really liked our interview with Tim and Lance, because they do the Crawl Space podcast and Missing Maura Murray, which, if all of you know ad nauseum, that is one of my top 2 true crime podcasts. I really want to find out what happened to Maura Murray. All right, episode 5, Samantha Rembolt and Fancy Sips. And
she's got a lot of listens, guys. Great interview.
Super interview. Really good about the basics of starting a business and the pitfalls and the successes.
And learning to do a lot of things on your own. So if you are starting a small business and you want to just push through, learn a lot of stuff on your own, great podcast to listen to. She's a doll, truly.
She's beautiful inside and out. She has a great Instagram page. So if you are not on Instagram, you really should be, and look up Fancy Sips, because, and Sam just recently posted, she's got some updates coming in August.
She just hired someone too. Hired a few people. So they're growing, and it's exciting to hear. It's exciting to see where she's come. So great interview. Please listen to that one.
Yep. Episode 6. So that podcast dropped on February 1st. Episode 6 was a chit chat update. It's just where Ashley and I talk about what we've been doing. I'm pretty sure we talked about our running or starting to run, some nutrition things. We started talking about that.
At the beginning of when COVID started. Right? Almost like a week or 2 after is when COVID started getting big, the beginning of March, right?
Yeah. Beginning to, to mid-March. Episode 7 dropped on March 1st, and that was our chit chat, excuses, and personalities. So we talked about excuses and priorities. And then episode 8 was following your passions, and that was Ashley's mom.
She's so sweet. Yes, she's a teacher, and basically that episode talks about if you feel stuck at your current job and you feel like it's just not something you're vibing with, and basically learning how to step out and follow the things that you've dreamt of since you were a kid, and how that looks in just a day-to-day life. So great episode. She's also very sweet, but I'm a little biased, obviously.
Our next episode 9 was on a quarantine update, because it was very early in quarantine.
Very early.
Episode 10. Oh, you can't see it because of my, that looks funky.
Because of our beautiful faces. It is. It's like extra people. I have my book over there. I should have brought it too.
That's okay. It's writing a book with Vanessa Simonet, and I went to high school with Vanessa. I have not read every page of the book, but I have definitely read quite a bit of it. It is hilarious. Just like Vanessa, I would expect nothing less from Vanessa.
She is a hilarious individual. Like, truly so funny.
Yes. And you should follow her on Facebook too, because she will come out with the craziest stuff. The next one, music sensation Shelby DeLong. That was a really interesting interview. And Shelby just graduated high school, going on to college.
She is our youngest of all of our interviewees and doing amazing things. She'll change the world one day. She's if nothing else, just with her sweet, positive attitude. She is such a sweetheart, but I think in more ways than just that.
Yes, I think so too. Episode 12 was body language with our body language expert, Martin. And we've stayed in contact. Ashley stayed in contact with Martin more than I have, but he also has an Instagram page and he's got some classes that have been discounted for COVID. So if you're looking for something to learn, highly suggest going to Martin's website.
If you're wanting to impress other people, he does some classes on how to basically look confident and have very not commanding is a bad word, but yeah, just confident body language. He has ones on how you can spot someone who's being deceptive, all sorts of classes. He's working on some new ones. Me and Robin have been helping him brainstorm a little bit. I've been sending our ideas to him on some new ones, but he's got some really cool ones in the pipe. So follow him on Instagram. I think it's Semerad_Martin. I think it's SEMERAD_MARTIN. So that's him.
And his Instagram stories are really, really cool.
Yes. He is a sweetheart too. Great
yes.
person.
Our June 1st episode was with my co-pilot that you've all heard about, Dawn Grams, and her Noom success. So her podcast dropped on June 1st, and I think it's really a listen to if people feel stuck, not even just in general. It's really, I don't know, Ashley, I thought the interview was more about how to break
creation.
What's that?
Oh, I was about to say, yeah, how to break through like barriers and also like habit creation.
Yeah.
Would you say? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I mean, that's what Noom is about. So Noom is it's more like a regimen we talked about. It's less about like counting calories, which it's not really about that. It's more about just making healthy life decisions, whether it be working out or other things as well. So it's really great. And she's a great success story.
Yeah. Please reach out to Dawn because she will help anybody who is on their way for a journey or behavioral changes. It was a really good interview. I really liked it. And because she's my co-pilot.
Yeah. We get to talk to her very often. We talked to her multiple times when I was in Madison.
Yes.
It was very fun.
Episode 14 was awesome. It was an interview with Kevin Belf, and Kevin is a part of CrimeCon, which is where I got the idea that I knew that I wanted to do a podcast. And like I said a year ago when I had dinner with Ashley back in June of 2019 and talked to Ashley, it was because of CrimeCon. So it holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, that episode I would say is really about kind of taking an idea and running with it and not knowing necessarily if it's going to work or not. And so talking a little bit about that and overcoming the little voice in your head that says, this may not work. This has never been done before. And then pushing through that and then seeing a success story of what CrimeCon and what was it? We called it Red Velvet Media, but it's,
is it Red Seat?
Red Sea's ventures. So to see where they are and how big they've gotten in the community that they've created through CrimeCon and their other endeavors. So great interview. And Kevin, so nice.
Yeah, total sweetheart. Kevin, hopefully your CrimeCon will go through in October. Although with COVID numbers rising, I don't know. But I know for sure, with or without COVID, Ashley and I are going to CrimeCon 2021.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
So exciting.
I said San Antonio, and Kevin said, well, you're going to be by yourself because all the rest of us will be in Austin.
We'll drop you off in San Antonio and be like, see you later. No.
Yeah. Anyway. The next episode was 15 in July with just Ashley and I. And then episode 16, which is our most recent episode, is with Mark Sukamel. And wow, that was an inspiration. Talk about, I never got the feeling from Mark that he planned it. It's something that just happened. And I think that is just, it's something that happens to me all the time. I don't plan a ton of things. It's all about timing. It's all about the universe. It's all about, I keep saying timing is everything. I think Ashley heard that a million times when she was here.
That one was especially hit home. I think that Mark's episode, because Mark is a good friend, and we talked about timing and, like things that aren't unplanned. And then we ended up having kind of like an extra Easter egg in that one where we thought it was going to go one way, and then we found out he started his own business. We didn't even know that. So it was like 2 in 1. And I think you're right. Some of the best things that can change our life are unexpected, that you didn't even expect to do, or some event happens to you that's unexpected, and then it changes the course of your life. And we talked a little bit about that with Mark, but Mark is truly an inspiration.
Mark is. Yeah. It was a really good interview.
Yeah.
And we have some upcoming changes to our schedule that we will be announcing later. Nothing big, nothing major, just a different scheduling and just a different twist on it.
Yeah. So some of our upcoming changes we've been talking about, like we said, when we were in Wisconsin, we kind of wanted to talk about just the podcast direction. And we found that while a lot of our listeners love the interviews, we also find that a lot of people like to learn about just concepts of personal development. So in the coming months, we haven't decided which days we're releasing what, but during the month we're posting 2 episodes. We'll be posting one that has to do with personal development and growth, and that's going to be between me and Robin and what we're learning and how that applies to our life, and then how you can apply it to your life. And then the other one will be an interview of some sort. So if you do have topics that you're interested in, such as confidence or how to overcome roadblocks, or what do you do when something goes a different way than you thought, like any type of little information that you want to learn, let's talk about it, because we are here to help you on your journey to do anything. And I think these concepts are important to adding a little bit more knowledge to your life. So I can't remember there was a book that I read, and it might be Atomic Habits that I read it, where it talks about the 1%, changing your life 1% a day. And so if you can just learn one tidbit from our podcast through an interview or through just the topic that we're discussing, then that's just 1% better that your life is getting. And so in that 1% will eventually, it creates habits, and then it changes your life. So we get super excited about that. I know you are too, Robin.
Oh yeah. Yes. I'm all about personal development, all about moving forward thinking. It's not to say that having the status quo sometimes isn't good, but I'm always interested in learning. I am a lifelong learner. I love learning new things.
And especially too, what we designed this podcast around is not just talking to people who are just outrightly successful. It's talking to the people who built their life from nothing, or just talking to the everyday person, because there are little things in your life that you can do that change your life, and you don't have to do these crazy, amazing things. It can be as little as just making your bed every day and creating a habit in that. So we want to talk to everyday people and show the two of us, which are just, I mean, everyone's special in their own right, but it's like we're 2 people that we just had an idea and we ran with it. And yes, that's pretty special, but we're showing you that a normal person can do this. A normal person can take these concepts and change their life drastically. Because I feel like we started this in October, Robin.
Yeah.
In the last, I don't even know, I'm so bad at this. Almost year. We've almost been doing this year. What is this going to be, like 10 months, 9 months we've been doing this. I feel like our life has changed drastically just by talking to some of these people and learning these tidbits. So it's really exciting.
I fully agree. And a lot of the research that we do on the side is it's totally mentally stimulating.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting.
Well, you were talking about, I don't know if you wanted to include this here, Robin, but you're talking about how you were doing something at work with creating goals and sticking to a plan. Did you want to talk about that, or even just touch on it where this is perfectly lining up in your life now too?
Yeah, personal development is something that my organization is really striving for because it is important. And recently, I've developed some personal goals that I'll be talking with my boss about in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't need to be stretch goals. I mean, even just regular everyday goals is still a goal, and it still keeps you engaged. It still keeps you motivated. And then what is the plan to keep going? So, for example, I'm a PMP, which is a project management professional. And do I use my PMP a lot? Yeah, I do believe that I use it every day, but to the full extent, I don't. So, one of my goals, my personal goals for work, is that I want to spend at least 3 hours a quarter on brushing up on PMP skills, so project management skills. And while it seems, well, 3 hours a month, that's only 1 hour, that's only one, or sorry, 3 hours a quarter, that's only 1 hour a month, doesn't seem like a lot. But when you start researching and going to some of the national websites on project management, it just really opens your eyes. And so I think it's going to be super beneficial, and it's such a small goal. So even super small goals add up to really big accomplishments.
Right. Yeah, they talk about that in the book too, Atomic Habits. It's like it's the stretch goal is it's so daunting for most people, Robin, right? Like it's so scary to say I want to start a company that has 45 employees or something like that. But it's the little things that you do every day, like, you know, answering emails and doing, like, there's a lot of unglamorous things that build you up to where you get to. And it's as long as you can master those little things, like you were saying, it will eventually hit the stretch goal, but you have to do the little things first. And it's really exciting. I'm so excited for you to be doing those goals.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Little baby steps. Nobody got to where they are by just getting there. They didn't just one day wake up and, oh, I'm the CEO of a company.
Right.
That's not how it works. It's all baby steps, and it's learning and growing, and how could I do things better? And Ashley knows, I ask all the time, how could I have done this better? How could I have done that better? And it's not self-deprecating, and it's nothing like that. It's just, what other skills do I need to develop to make it better? How could I have phrased a Facebook post, or how could I have done this differently? So it's really putting something down on paper, like a Facebook post, which I will be doing for Mark's episode very shortly, and then stopping and thinking, how could I have done this better? If I'm reading this, what could I have said? Or if I'm a listener, what could I say that would make it more interesting? Or how can I showcase Mark's success better? And it's really just those little baby things, and you eventually continue to grow those skills, and pretty soon you're an expert.
Yeah. And then also just being okay with where you are too. Like sometimes taking a step back, sometimes it can get overwhelming. I'm learning this in therapy too, is if you can be working at a goal too, and sometimes it's okay to take a day of rest and to recharge and heal. That's what I've been doing the last 2 weeks. I've been like going. And it's been really put on my heart to sit there and rest for 2 weeks because I have some opportunity coming up in the next 2 weeks. And so taking time and resting and saying, okay, we're going to get back on it. Like, and it's okay that we're taking this time to rest. Don't feel bad about it. And Robin is very good at this. Like I get very emotional. So I feel like I'm not doing enough or working hard enough, even though I am working really hard. It's sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. And Robin will sit there and remind me. And she's like, it's okay. Just calm. Like you can't get too emotional. Like just, it is what it is. And just take it from there. Like you can pick it up and keep going if you want to. It's not an end all be all. So
yeah, I wasn't even expecting to talk about this, but
no,
this past weekend, I knew my batteries were way low. And the only way that I can recharge my batteries is by reading, is by doing just mindless little tasks around the house. I ended up watching TV for probably 4 hours on Saturday, which
is not normal for you.
No, that's not normal at all. But I knew that my body needed to slow down and rest.
You needed it.
And I also started writing again, which is something that's very cathartic for me. So I continued my book. And then just writing all of my ideas down. I am a list person. So getting all of those ideas out of my brain and onto paper is just such a release. And come Monday morning, I felt fantastic and ready to go.
It's more mental space that you've opened up and you can put it towards other projects. But yeah, I can tell a difference in you too. I feel like you definitely seem more light. And so that's exciting.
Yes.
Big changes are coming. It's going to be exciting.
Super exciting.
But other than that, I'm trying to think, do we have anything else we want to touch on before we go?
Just listeners, please send in any ideas, questions, thoughts. We've received a couple of emails and we love them. So please send us any ideas. You can hit us up on icandoanythingpod@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, icandoanythingpod.
Perfect. We're coming at you. So until next time, stay awesome.
And keep reaching for your anything.
Goodbye.
See ya.